Hi everyone, it's Kathy here with another art journal video. This one is adding a page onto my handmade Concertina journal. So we'll go through this one together and you can duplicate it if you like. So this page in my Concertina journal is using all of the images come out of our book called Rebels with Wrinkles. So starting, I'm just taking that one page and kind of show you there how I roughly cut it apart into 3 pieces. And then I'm going to trim it a little bit shorter. First I'm going to cut off that torn edge, make a straight edge that's going to go right down the side of my journal. And the page is a little bit tall for my journal's just about 8 by 8 inches. So I do cut the pages shorter so that it's going to fit into that 8-inch journal. A lot of the images in this book, even though the book is 11 inches tall, you can certainly trim them down, cut them, tear them apart, make them fit into whatever size journal that you're working with. So this is going to be a scene of these fun ladies doing some late night crafting. I am one of those crafters where inspiration hits late at night. Often when the sky is dark and the moon is out like that, that is when I get the most creative. So I can really relate to these gals crafting all night long, just having fun. So I'm doing a little bit of fussy cutting just at the top of the page there. The rest of it is really just a quick cut out of the book, or you could have even have just torn it out. But the top of the page there, I'm just doing a little bit of trimming. And here I'll just tear off anything that's going to go beyond the crease in the page. And here's my 2 gals that I've cut out of the book, Rebels with Wrinkles. And those are the 2 that I'm going to add on there. And then I love this little cat. You know how cats sleep so much, but this guy's he's got one eye open, peeking to see what they're doing. Cute pair of little slippers there that I might end up using, or maybe not. And then some quotes to choose from as well. So take a little time here, just deciding, how am I going to lay that all out? What do I want my page to look like? Do I want it all on one side? Do I want the room spread across 2 sides? Lots of options here. One thing I end up doing is cutting this clock out, and then I will end up gluing that back onto my project. Because they're late night crafting, I just thought there should be a clock in there showing it's some kind of late time at night. I think that one's showing it's almost midnight. And look at these gals, still smiling, drinking coffee, having fun with their art. All the images in this book are friends just having a blast together. And I won't bore you with too many more of my little deciding how I'm going to lay this out. You get the idea that there's lots of options on there of how you can do it. So what I'm going to end up doing is putting their whole craft room, these images, all over onto the left-hand page. Let's just overlap and make them fit. Trimming off anything that might cover up the other image a little too much. And there, pretty much got them to fit how I want. And then once you get everything the way you want it, you can start gluing it down and layering it. And I'm still fiddling, deciding what I'm going to do there. How am I going to fit in all the things that I want? And that nice quote, fun one. Crafting late because inspiration doesn't keep office hours. So true, eh? So I often, when I'm doing this collage style or layering things on my art journal, I will lay it all out before gluing anything down, so no commitments yet, and just decide how I want it all to lay out. And if you like to do that too, then a good habit to get into is once you get it the way you want, take a picture with your phone. And that way, when you take it all apart to glue it down, you can always refer back to the picture you took in case you forget just how you had it laid out. So here I'm just going to use this glue stick and get that first piece laid down the edge of my project. And if this is your first time joining the video, welcome. Glad to have you join. And this is page, I think it's about page 5 in this handmade concertina journal I'm doing. So make sure to watch the other videos. You can see a video for all the other pages, plus one that shows the walkthrough of the finished journal. This is the first time I've done one of these handmade concertina journals. It's just because you can just keep adding pages to it and growing it as you go, and I'm really enjoying that process. My idea was that there are so many images in this book called Rebels and Wrinkles of these fun gals, and I just want to art journal them all. So I thought I would put them all into one art journal. So this handmade one, I can make it just as thick or as thin as I want. And then it kind of tells a little story of the fun that these gals have together. Now I'm laying this one down so that it ends right on the edge of the page. So nothing's going over that crease. But I'm finding that even if it goes over the crease, it's fine. Scrapbook paper is a little bit too thick. I wouldn't do that, putting it over the crease in the page where it's going to bend. But with the weight of the paper in this book, it is just perfect. And I'm finding it goes over that crease just fine. There's no buckling and it doesn't wear out. Works out good. So on this right-hand side of the page, I'm going to paint a night scene, like a night sky. So I've picked out 2 colors from, I believe those are Gina Wakely paints. One's called, the darker one there is called Midnight, and then the lighter one I believe is this Malachite. Mixing them together because I thought that Midnight was too dark. I want to make it a little bit lighter. So I'm just combining them together right on my page. And if I get patches of one color rather than the other, that's fine. It just adds to the look of your art journal scene. And any patches on the left-hand side of the page where you can see the white paper, I end up painting over those too, just more or less to fill them in, just so they're not blank white. And you can see these colors just mix and right on the page as I'm doing it. Now there, I just added some purple into it too, just to get a little bit different tone. Experimenting. Art journal is a perfect place to experiment. And then I'm just brushing it all out. It looks on the video like there's some lighter spots there, but that is just reflections from the lights that are on the ceiling of my art room here. And here I'm just going up onto the tip corner of that page and just fill it in with some blue, just so that you don't have any blank paper showing through. Just a quick, easy way to finish off your page. And then I'm going to glue down this gal. And yeah, I have glued her right over the crease in the 2 pages there. But this paper is perfect for that. Then I decide I'm going to make it look like a starry night. So I'm going to splatter some white paint. So I've just taken a piece of paper and covered up my gal there so that she doesn't get stars on top of her. This Tim Holtz splatter brush, I love it. Use it lots. And then here I'm just covering up most of my project because I'm going to add a little bit of these splatter star look into the window, so that when you look out the window into the sky, it's similar to the sky that I've painted on the right hand side there. And then we're just gluing down the other images. So I've got the 2 gals. There's actually 3 that are part of the scene in the book that you could use, but I've decided just to use 2 of them. That works good for the size page I'm working on. And then this really cute cat that's sleeping, but one eye open watching these ladies, seeing what they're doing. And then this art journal quote, it's too big the way it is to fit on the size page I'm working on. So I just cut it into strips. And then the strips are even too long to fit on my page. So I'm cutting off the blank areas so that I'm down to just the words. And I'll even cut some of the words apart so that I can make them fit into that sky area on my page. And here's a trick for you. If you don't want to have to line up everything so it's perfectly straight, then you purposely put it crooked, and then it doesn't matter. No rulers involved. So there we've got that long, big quote all to fit on my little page. And then I'm just going to take a black, either a marker or maybe it's a black gel pen. I think it's a marker I used here. And I thought I would outline, put a black line around the outside of all of those quotes. It doesn't really show up much just because the background is so dark anyways, but because I started it on one, I'm just going to finish it on all the others. Just to keep it consistent. And when you see it close up, you can kind of tell it, but it's not really worth putting down there. It just doesn't show up very much. And then since that outlining didn't show up very much, I decided, well, I'll just do a little bit of doodling on the quote as well. There's enough white space there that there's space to doodle and it doesn't interrupt the lettering of the words. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you already know this is the part of my project I like, is when you're getting very close to wrapping it up and you can just do some final doodles, add a few little touches here and there, and at this point you're just enjoying your own art journal page that you've just about got finished. And then I added that little alarm clock because it goes along with that quote of it being a late night. I'd say it's early morning. I think that clock says like 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, something like 5 o'clock, I guess. So yeah, they really stayed up all night crafting. And here's where I'm just going to add that page into my handmade journal. So I'm adding some double-sided tape that's really strong onto the existing journal. Each page has this extra 1-inch flap on it. So I just put some double-sided tape onto that flap. And that's how I attach down my newest pages. And this way, the journal just keeps growing. I can add as many pages as I want into it. So I'm really enjoying that process. And then you can see on the right-hand side of my page where I've got a little bit of a flap there, where the next page is going to be attached onto that. And these other pages that you get a peek through, there's videos showing how those were put together as well.